who are you really? You know, who are you really? Like, do you ever ask yourself that? And you know what really brings you joy in life? And not just like a surface level answer, an actual answer. Who are you really and what brings you joy in life? Tonight's episode is about that. My reflection on that and kind of just catching you guys up because I haven't done a solo podcast in a while on my week. Because if you've been following the channel, you know that I've been in the ULP strike with my job. I'm a Teamster and we have a strike going on right now. So kind of just my thoughts on that and yeah, so this one's a little deep thought, a little fun, a little funny how we always keep it. I'm Tony, your host as always, your ambassador of fun. And sit back, pour a glass. The first one's on me. Let's get into it, guys. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Garage Mind. I'm Tony, as always, your ambassador of fun. And like I said, this one's kind of that thought of, who are you really? And what really gives you like real joy in life? Like real joy, not just base level stuff, like, you know, deep thought here. And then just kind of catch you up on the week because I got a lot going on. With the ULP strike, we're now on our 10th week. Kind of just it was kind of funny. We kind of just threw a party today because our local is local 710, and this is July, so the 7th month, and it's the 10th week of our strike. So we decided to have a food truck come out, get the guys together, have some food truck food, a little party. I was down the ones and twos, bringing it back to the DJ days. Having fun spinning music, because music's always been a big thing of mine too. I love music. I'm kind of like the jack of all trades, master of none kind of guy. I love to try different experiences, different hobbies, and DJing was one of mine in my younger years. That was one I did, and I still kind of mess with music. I love music. I'll mess with beats sometimes here and there, and DJ and stuff like that. Just something I like. Because I don't know about you guys, but I don't like just tying myself down to one thing. And that's kind of what this episode is about. You know, if you were asked the question, who are you really, and what gives you real joy in life? So we're kind of going to reflect on that. And what I mean by that is, if somebody were to ask you that, how would you answer that? And if you really thought about it, and back to how I said, I love like jack of all trades. I love doing that. I love, like right now, I'm a Teamster. I'm with Local 710, and I love being a part of that fight. You know what I mean? Because the Teamsters are what, 1 million members now. Shout out to O'Brien and Zuckerman and the IBT. Bringing back the middle class because obviously I kind of fall into that role of middle class, blue collar guy. So, I just feel like over the years, the blue collar class is, it's kind of been, disappearing. Since the 90s, it's been disappearing. It's kind of, you're either poor or rich. And we need to fight, for our rights for that. And, a lot of people may not get what unions are, may not get what they're about. And, yeah, some locals are going to be bad. Some unions are bad, I'm sure. Like with anything in life, there's good, there's bad. Not everything's perfect, and you may have had bad experience. And I always talk about it with my current job. I did my old union was sorry. I'm horrible today. I'm really stuffy. With my last job, the union was fucking terrible. I mean, no representation, didn't give a fuck, just collecting union dues. And then, I come to Local 710, and these guys are amazing from top to bottom, from the BAs to the presidents to the anybody who works in the hall. It's just amazing. And, that's kind of where my thought goes. If somebody were to ask me that question, who are you really? And what brings you joy in life? And I say that because, we recently had our contract, and I sat on the committee for that. They generally have to follow the contract. Like I said, it could be 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. They make a contract. That's what the union does for you. They make a contract and they represent you, and then they uphold the company to that contract. You have to follow that. So I got a chance to sit on the board. I got a chance in the past to kind of help a little bit with the contract, never sit on the committee for it. It was my first time, and you get a real look at what what companies think about you, and it's not very good. Um, you know, they think what they do is, they're so smart, and you're replaceable. And I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into feelings about that. But once I do something, I was asked to be on the committee. I fully commit myself to things, and that was one of them. And some people may not get it. Some people may just think that it's bullshit. But they'll always collect the benefits and enjoy what the Teamsters can do for them. But some people just have to get educated. But me personally, I always invest in whatever it is I'm doing. It could be a simple task to a complicated one. I always put my heart and soul into it. I always have. I don't, if I say I'm in it, I'm gonna give you 100% of me, no matter what it is. And for this, I was kind of, doing my research on, my company, doing the research on things they've got in the past, and I've had great now, you know, mentors, and I had great now become great friends of mine, um, Eddie and Brian. And if you met them, they're great as well too. Like I love to keep. I'm a big firm believer of the people you keep around me, your circle, if you want to call it that. Um, Mine is small, but mine is it's important, and it was chosen for a reason. I keep people around me that build me up. I keep people around me that can educate me. I keep people around me that are fighters as well. I keep people around me that want to build everybody around them as well. And if you met the guys that I have too, these guys, they become great friends, and that's what they are too. Brian is a dude. He's a fucking pit bull, that guy, and he may not use the right words, but he's gonna fight for you no matter what, and he's always gonna have your back. And it's funny because the other day I found myself like he's just a fucking pit bull, dude. And I found myself getting a little hyped up, and he was calming me down. He gave me a nice talk, and hey, don't these something was going on where I was giving my attention to the wrong things, and he was telling me not to worry about it. And I caught myself. I'm like, man, Brian the Pitbull's, he's calming me down. It was fun. It was funny, so the guy's wiser than I thought. But if you would see him, you know, whether it be negotiating or having your back, the guy's there. He's I mean, that's the best way to describe him. He's a fucking passionate pitbull. He's a killer, that guy. Um, these are the type of people I keep around me, and I learned a lot from him. And he's educated me because I no matter what I do, I want to be of value, and I want to be able to fight correctly and get as much as I can do done. Be an asset, be a tool. Um, you know, Now reflecting on it in my life, I've always wanted to be a part of something bigger, and I always tend to gravitate towards stuff like that. The thought is if I can help one person in this world better their life in any way, and I was the cause of that, I'm happy. And I've been told by some people that I've done that already, um, in past endeavors, and I hope I can continue to do that. And like I said, even with this platform, with this podcast, if I can help anybody, um, you know, life is complete for me. And back to the people that I circle myself with. The other good friend is come Eddie, and I love I'm a big believer in this. The energy that you carry is the energy that you welcome. So like I said, I've been a fighter my whole life, and I'm strong willed, and I give my 100% of me in whatever I do. And Eddie, man, he's that guy. And you know what I love about Eddie? I don't think he even knows that. Like this guy, when he talks, a room listens. Like he's a goofball like me. We like to joke too. I like to make people laugh. That's another thing. Um, if I could put a smile on your face and make you laugh, I feel fucking great. I love seeing people laugh. Laughter is, the joy for the heart. It's it's contagious, and it just makes people feel good, And he's goofy just like me. We get together, we fuck around, we make everybody laugh. We have a good time, but he also, when he talks, and just the type of person he is, just give you a little background. I mean, this guy's serving our country, you know, he's in the Navy, you know what I mean? Just commitments like that. He's a good father, stuff like that, and Brian too. Like that right there, it starts to tell you the type of person they are. They care for others, and like with Eddie, I don't even think he notices it. Like I was talking to him the other day. Like when he talks, people listen, and people can tell that he has your back, and he's just got that thing where people listen, and people want to follow him. And even when, because I was one of, like, when he talks, I listen. I've learned a lot from the guy, because nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. You'll get all of me, but I tend sometimes to be a little more like Brian. I'm a little more passionate, and sometimes when something's close to you and you're passionate about it, you get a little carried away, and and that's the thought. Back to the question of who I am, really. I'm a fighter, and whether that was in the cage or metaphorically or helping somebody, I've always had a problem with bullies. You know, um, whether that be a person, a company, a group of people. I don't like, because I kind of had that. I don't like when people put people down and think they're better than them, or their insecurities. They project that on other people. So I'll fight for those people. Because if it's a person and they want to be a bully, bully me. Try it. Um, we'll go from there. And like back to the thought of the Teamsters. I've gotten involved now. Obviously sitting on the committee, I got involved with my BA, another great guy, Gabe. This guy literally told me he would take a bullet for me. So that's all you need to understand right there. Of who he is. That tells you exactly right there. And all the way up to our president of our hall, and I've soaked in all the knowledge they've taught me, and I hope to someday help people the way they do. And whether that be with them, with another organization, wherever life takes me. But I've had, I've been lucky to be in the same room as those people who have accomplished a lot in that way, whether it be Gabe, Dell, any of the BAs, or, anybody at that hall. Um, because, and everything they taught me, like I said, I love to embrace the fight. And that's what these guys do for people every day, from UPS to Amazon to, you know, printing press clothes to Universal to you name it. They're helping people every day. And sometimes everything doesn't go perfect, but it starts with them and then it goes up the chain, to the bigger platforms like the IBT, stuff like that. And the knowledge that these guys have put on me and have blessed me with, I listen. When they talk, I listen and I take in. And like I said, I hope to be in a position that they have one day where I could, if the Teamster fight is my fight that I focus on, and you know what I think it's going to be, because I love it. And I love what the IBT's done and what our locals have done. And it's giving blue collar people like me a chance at a good life again, because big corporations have kind of changed that way, and they're not they're just trying to get richer, and I don't know how, I'm not a politician either, but I'm learning. I might have to brush up on that a little bit too, because there's a lot of politics involved. There is, there always is that. I mean, the world, the U.S. runs on politics, but just the fact that's why I've like, the show's always been about real conversation, real people that are passionate, and who's more passionate than a Teamster, and so that's why I've kind of like shifted the podcast a little bit too, to talk to just everyday people too, but then people with different locals, stuff like that, and get their message out. Because if I can do that, like I'm a little platform, but if I can get somebody else's message out as well, just like with my work strike, if I can help us out any way I can, any tool I have available that I can even a little, even if it's a little bit, help anybody's message get out there, I want to do it. And like I said, I've been blessed to be in the same room with some of these guys and hear their stories and hear how they came up and hear how they got involved. And I've learned so much, and I love that. I just soak it in, because then I become a weapon to help on the cause as well, help blue collar people. And I enjoy this, man. I enjoy it a lot. I enjoy being able to, talk to a guy and educate him on something, and he gets it and he understands. And because sometimes, I've learned some people just don't want to hear the answer you're giving them, but always be honest. At least you're giving them the real answer. You're not sugarcoating it to their liking, because that's going to bite you in the ass later on. And then you're always going to have those people that are negative and, hate themselves, and you just never, they're just never going to hear you or try to listen. They're just miserable people. And there's going to be that. And so if someone were to ask me, I would say I'm a fighter. I love it. And currently my fight is, you know, with my work. And you know, I've been talking to other locals, and I've been blessed and lucky enough to, once again, the people I circle myself with have gave me the connections to talk to other locals and see how their fight is going and stuff like that. And like I said, because the people I know and I circle myself with, I've been lucky enough to get connections to talk to other locals and other Teamsters and talk about their fight. And now I'm learning different industries as well, different blue collar peoples in different industries too, and I'm learning kind of what their everyday struggles are and what they go through, and I'm learning everything's kind of the same. We're all people that love their job, just want to work hard and do, but they're trying to burn us out, and they're just not fair. And they make all this money and they don't want to pay for our wages. And like I said, I don't want to get into the politics side, but I find out that as humans, we're all the same. We're kind of fighting the same battles. It's just different looks. Especially for the blue collar people. And so once again, who am I? I'm a fighter. I'm going to fight for people's rights. And that's my fight right now. It used to be in the cage, fighting my own demons, fighting bullies. And I love this side of it. I love the union talks. I'm becoming very passionate on this, and I'm going to do whatever I can do to help. And I'm going to keep helping. And I hope to reach people. I hope you guys listening, you kind of, if you're not a Teamster, if you're not a union person, you kind of understand them a little more. and just just know that trying to make life better for people, and that's everything. That's everything for me. Like, it started when I was a fighter. Um, I kind of started because I was dealing with my own things and I had to fight them out of me and fight my demons and stuff like that. And then it got into, the love. I loved it. I've always loved martial arts though. It's always, but it's just come something I kind of did. And then I fell in love with it. And, I used to teach kids, adults, and whatever it may be. Some kids and adults would come in, they were picked on, they were bullied. They weren't, some were learning it for the wrong reasons. You're not supposed to fight. You're supposed to be disciplined. You're supposed to be better than that, especially outside of the gym. But, I had some of them come up to me and tell me, you gave me the confidence to do things, and they're doing big things, bigger things than me. Um, but like I said, if I could be a part of that, like that's who I am. I'm a fighter and I'll fight for people. I'll fight for what's right. Um, Kind of love doing that. And now thinking about it, like that was the question that was on my mind tonight. Like, who are you really? Like, if someone were to ask you that, and I've kind of been a fighter, and I'm always a fighter. But what I fight for is you, other people who aren't, maybe whether don't know how to express it right, or kind of just shoved aside from society, or whatever it is. I got you. You know what I mean? That's who I am. And you know what? That leads into the second question. What really brings you joy? That brings me joy. Um, Building people up, um, building people up around me, seeing people succeed. If I can help anybody, that that right there is what brings me joy. That brings me the most joy. And man, you know what I mean? If you're the type of person I am, and you just know, like, when you're being successful and everybody around you is successful, it feels good. If you can help anybody better their life in any way, or change their life in a positive way, I mean, what is there a better feeling? To me, that is what brings me pure joy. Bringing happiness to others, helping others. And like I said, right now, that my 100% focus is on the union side of things. I want to help people. I want to protect people. I circle myself with people who have been in the game for a long time and understand it, and do that currently right now. They save people. Like, I was talking to my BA the other day, Gabe. This guy's another guy that I don't know if he realizes how influential he is, but he is. I 100% look up to him. Every talk we've ever had, I've learned so much. Same thing with our president Dell. I mean, this guy is just, they're on the strike. They're out there every day. They got families, and they not only come out, they interact with us, on a human level, on a business level, you know, and just on a personal level. I mean, you sit back and ask questions, and get involved, and they want to teach you, they want to educate you, they want to tell you. And like I said, back to Gabe, everything he's ever taught me, I listen, and he's very wise, and especially in this field. And I just sense the passion in him as well. That's what I'm telling you. I'm a big believer in energy. The energy you put out. I mean, the guy takes pride. He shows me the sleep schedule the other day. This guy's hadn't slept 4 hours in fucking like 3 months, because he's up, worried, fixing, whatever has to be, contracts, language, whatever they got, grievances he's got to handle. Like, this guy doesn't even fucking sleep. Um, and that passion and that drive is exactly who I am, and who I want to be. And that's what gives me joy. Um, you know, I just got kind of the podcast platform to help people, but I hope, especially in the Teamster fight, that I could reach a bigger audience. So if you guys listening know anybody in unions or locals, or a part of this circle, share it for me, please. I appreciate that. I'm just a blue collar guy trying to help other blue collar people, guys, women, women, men, anybody in the unions, and just anybody in life. My current focus is people in unions, because I'm around that a lot. And you know obviously I'm part of that. I'm the blue collar class, and I love it. Um, brings me pure joy. Fighting has always been my thing. And, I said earlier that I thought it was just, and I'm not just talking the martial arts. They've taught me a lot of what I know, and I directly put that into life because they've taught me dedication. It's taught me dedication. It's taught me repetition. It's taught me to be accurate and precise. And it's taught me to move. You don't have to be a showboat and big. You move with precision. Precision is a beautiful word. You do things when you're supposed to. You time them. You do them accurately, and you don't waste your time. In fighting, it's don't waste your cardio. In life, it directly translates to don't waste your energy on the nonsense. Like I said, Brian earlier had to talk me down because I was giving my attention to some things and to some people that don't matter because that's who they are. That's their insecurities, and they don't help what I love doing. They're not a part of that. They're not part of helping them. This cause, and I think when people try to help other people and just don't only focus on themselves, you bring a lot of joy to yourself because that's what we're about. We're about tribes. We're about building up our neighbor. I mean, there's no better joy to me. There's no better joy to me. So with the Teamster side of things, I'm going to stick that and go as far as it goes. If it goes to just my job and this one time and I helped a couple of people, I'm fine. But that's not the energy I'm putting out, and that's not what I'm hoping to stop. But towards this movement, I hope I could go up in the ranks and figure out and I hope this platform gets out to more people, on that in that same journey as me, unions and stuff like that. I hope, if you're in a union and you're listening, man, I hope I can help you guys. I hope, if you have a story, get a hold of me. If you're part of a local, you're going through a strike or something going on and you want it out there, I'll do my best. Like I said, this platform is a tool for me to get it out. And I'll do it as much as I can. I'll push it, I'll push it wherever I can, all social media, stuff like that. But I love being a part of something bigger than myself. And I love helping other people. And I love being a fighter. So if someone were to ask me, who are you? I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter for for the things that I love, for the people that I love. I'm a fighter for people who can't fight for themselves. I'm a fighter, you know, to give people better lives. I'm a fighter for the little guy. I'm a fighter against bullies, whatever that looks like. A person, a group, a company. Put me in, coach. I'm ready, bro. I'm fucking fighting for you. So, and I kind of touched on earlier too. Put that energy out there. When you find out, when you ask yourself, so I'm asking you guys tonight too, ask yourself, who are you really? Like, sit back, think about it, man. Drink some bourbon, whatever you want, water, sit back and really think about it as I'm talking here. Think about who you really are and what brings you joy. Because I think if if you could hone on those two things, what brings you joy and who you really are, I think it brings you more, at least I know from my perspective, it brings me more joy in life, knowing those two things, because then I can focus my energy on that. Because I told you guys earlier, energy is a big thing and it's undeniable. If you put positivity out there, positive comes back. You put negative out there, negative comes back because, negativity, and I found that loop too. It becomes a loop, if you keep putting that out there and then you start inviting other negative things in, other negative people, other negative outcomes, just not good. Just put out there what you want. And I promise it will happen, or you'll get a form of it, but you'll get it. It may not look the way you thought exactly, but you'll get it and you'll get that point across. And people just can't help. You ever been around somebody and you just know, like, this guy's good. Like, you just feel it, and that's what I want people to get from me too. Like I said, I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter for things that are bigger than myself, because I had to go through it. I had to fight for myself, you know, and I did, and I won, and so I'm here to do it for other people. And so that's kind of my take on that. And another thing, just to sidetrack for a little bit, because man, I know against popular opinion, because I said we're going to talk about this week as well for me, and I can't fucking wait for tomorrow. Today's Friday. Um, by the time you guys hear this, it'll probably be Saturday. It might be over already. But against popular opinion, and I'm calling it right now. And if I'm wrong, and if you guys are listening to this on YouTube, wherever, let me know down in the comments what you think. I would love to hear it as well. Or if you're listening on the podcast platform, whatever it may be, whatever platform, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think because I'm curious. I don't like, the things that happen outside of the cage, outside of the octagon. But dude, Conor fucking McGregor's back. And dude, as a fighter, I've always respected him as one of the best in the world. I think he kind of got caught up in the money and being rich and it happens to the best of them, but he kind of looks reformed. He looks like he gets it. He's very humble again. He looks like he's in good shape. I've always been a fan of him as a fighter, as a champion. Outside of that, everybody can change. I'm not going to even talk on that. But as a fighter, I respect the shit out of that man. And I can't fucking wait because I think we're getting a different Conor. I think we're getting a more, in tuned with himself because he seems different. And I don't know, it's something from watching all the press conferences and interview. Of course, you're always going to get the stare down and that, he slapped his glasses off and all that. He's still a showman. But dude, he seems really humble. Like he acknowledged his mistakes. Like, and that takes a lot to do it on camera in public, and especially in the audience they got. I mean, it's tens of thousands of people. And dude, I'm pumped. And I honestly, like I said, I know a lot of guys don't think it, but I think he's knocking him out in the first round. I'm calling it right now. Conor McGregor by win in the first round. I'm calling it. That's what I got on it. Let me know what you guys got on it. But I can't wait. I mean, I don't even know who else is on the card because I've been so like I couldn't wait for this fight as soon as I heard about it. I'm pumped. I don't even know who else is fighting on it. I think I saw Patty. I think he's on there. I don't even know if you guys know. Let me know who else is on the card too. I'll look it up actually. Who else is on this card? What is it? UFC 129 or something? UFC. It's 329. Who's on this card? So it's Conor McGregor and Max Holloway. That's obviously the championship. And guys, let me know too. Does Conor still hold the belts? I mean, I saw them with belts. Somebody won a belt for this one. Conor's 22-6, and Max Holloway's 27-9. I know Max actually has a better record. And then the co-main event is Benoit Saint Denis. I don't even know who that guy is. Yeah, against Patty. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know who that guy is. And then the card under that is Corey Sandhagen and Mario Batista. I know Mario Batista. Corey Sandhagen. I think Mario's got that one. And I think Patty's got this other guy. I don't know who that guy is too. If you guys, so I got, okay, last three fights. I got Mario Batista, Patty, and Conor McGregor. Let me know what you guys think about that. That's another thing too. Dude, I love fighting. And UFC, no, I kind of stepped away though too. I'm not gonna lie. Especially after I stopped fighting. I think my last pro fight was 5 years ago. 6 years ago now. I kind of, the UFC got kind of like WWE for me. So I kind of stopped watching it for a while. It was a little weird. And it's a different breed of fighters though, and I'm glad I got back into it because I think they kind of cut the shit out and stopped, the the WWE kind of shit. And dude, I'm not gonna lie, and like I said, I don't get into political side, but the White House card, and they did that phenomenal. The way they told the story of the history of the U.S., I thought it was super cool. Let me know what you guys think. And with the canopy, it was just a cool setup too. And then the veterans and the police officers and firefighters walking them out. Man, I think Dana White did a good service there. That was awesome. The veterans getting respect. coming out of the White House. I mean, as a fighter, um, that had to be crazy to stay focused for that fight too, because like I could remember, getting yourself focused on fight day and relaxing the nerves is probably one of the hardest things to do. And if I was in the White House, I don't even know like how I would do that. I mean, like most of them are walking out of the Oval Office, like that's a dream just to see the inside of it. Like just to see that was cool. So to actually be there warming up and on top of it coming out with a vet or a police officer or a firefighter, man, I can only imagine that's like hair standing shit going on right there. That's crazy. So I thought the UFC did a really good job at representing the US and like all the videos they did, like all the commercials they did about the US. I thought that was really cool. I thought the card, I didn't think they were going to do that good of a job. I was actually kind of worried about the card, but I think it was great. Um, and then Gaethje winning, man, and in the fashion he did, man, he fucked that guy up. And I mean, like I said, I'm just getting back into it again. I'm glad I did because the even from when I fought, I mean, this is a new breed of animals now. It kind of got weird there for a while. Nobody was really special. John Jones was in and out, but like there's this new wave of like fighters that because when I started, man, back in early 2000s, I mean, there's classes you could bring your kids to jujitsu classes now starting at 5. I mean, you get them in Muay Thai classes. Like there's so much, especially with the wrestling side of it. I just did wrestling in high school. There wasn't really a lot of camps and stuff like that. Now, I mean, there's camps. There's 8-year-olds that could probably destroy me. Like it's just so and then that's I believe partially to the people understanding the sport now, and obviously because the UFC blew up so much. Because the UFC even back in the early 2000s wasn't really much. They had a lot more building to do. Um, so yeah, glad I got back into that. I think Connor's going to surprise everybody. I know a lot of people don't like him, but you got to separate, the guy he was acting like to the fighter. You got to respect him as a fighter. But let me know what you guys think. Who's going to win on that? And then also for the week, I'm excited. I can't sleep. That's kind of why my voice is all messed up right now. It's pretty late at night right now. I'm going to fucking Disney World tomorrow, dude. And before all the haters start, yes, me and my wife are Disney adults, and I don't care because once again, I don't like bullies. So I'm gonna do what makes me happy, and I'm gonna put in perspective too because my wife she loves it, and for every guy that's married, I hope you get a chance to see this as well too. I was talking to somebody the other day. They're like, "Why you like it? You're an adult. It's for kids." Um, Walt famously says, I forgot the saying. He says, "All are welcome." He doesn't say under 10 are welcome or under 8 are welcome or just kids are welcome. He says all are welcome. And keep in mind the man he was. I mean, this guy was an adult as well who built a whole little train yard for his friends that you could drive around in. You know what I mean? Like, and on that point, why I'm saying that is, see, I got ADD. I forget my first point. We'll go do the first point first. The first point is, like I said, all husbands. I wish you could see this. Just pure joy in your wife. Um, when we go and they do like these little parades, and like all the princesses wave or whatever. My wife, just the smile and the energy that comes over this woman's face, she waves back at them like she's a little girl saying hi to a princess for the first time. And just the pure joy on her face, that's worth all the money I spent. I mean, I'll spend it triple that just to see that smile on her face. Because, as adults, life get hard. It does. It's tough. And she works at a very, her job is very mentally straining. Like she works with schizophrenic people, um, drug addicts, people going through rough times. And, she sees people at their worst. So to see that woman just smile and be happy and look at, be a little kid again inside her heart and soul after she sees some of the worst things in life and people at their worst, that is everything to me. It's beautiful. And that's what that place does. That's what it does. Like I told you, I was talking to a friend the other day, and that's why it's for kids. And you know what? I thought about it, and it's because talking about fighting for people, you know, I think we stopped fighting for ourselves somewhere along the way, become an adult. And I think Disney brings you back to that kid. And I think we need to bring the kid out inside of us out more. I think, when we were, look at kids. When we were a kid, we dreamed big. It was limitless. We thought we'd be superheroes. We thought we'd be, this big something, astronauts, big serious doctors, whatever it may be. Your dreams were big. You didn't look at where you lived, and you didn't put limitations on yourself and say, no, that can never happen. No, your imagination was endless. Your possibilities were endless. And that feeling, that kid inside of you is still there. And I think like Disney going there brings that out. And I think we chase that feeling when we're there and we get that feeling. And I think more of us need to kind of take from that and find that kid, because somewhere along the line we put a box on ourselves. Like you think about something, you're like, oh, I can never do that. That can never be me. Yeah. Why not? Why can't it be? Let's bring that kid out inside who thought he could be a superhero and do it. I mean, why not? What the only thing stopping you is you. Why, and that feeling comes back, at least for us. When you're there, you're that kid again that believes anything's wonder, magic, and anything can happen. The world is endless, and that place, they do that better than anybody else. I don't think there's anything anywhere else on the face of this earth that brings that out of you like they do it. It's great. And I think as adults, we need to do that. We just get wrapped up in life and we get so serious, and we don't stop to realize the beauty, and we don't believe in ourselves anymore. And whatever you want to call that, that's the way it was designed, this and that, whatever. I say bullshit. And I think we need, and I try to do this as well. Bring that kid out, believe you can be that superhero again. Don't put limitations on yourself. Do it. If you want to fucking do it, do it. That's why I do the podcast. I love talking to you guys. I love, giving my thoughts on stuff, and it just, and it goes back to the Teamster thing. I love fighting for people, and I'm going to, be an asset as much as I can. And I'm going to fight for people, and wherever that journey takes me, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to be a tool that's going to be for good. And I'm going to try, you know what I mean? Like if it's getting the message out for other locals, other halls on my podcast, I'm going to do it. Because like I said, there's nothing that brings me more joy than fighting for people. And that little kid in me is the part that made me fight. The kid inside of me became that fighter a long time ago because he had to become that fighter, and it's never left. And that little kid used to dream big. He used to dream real big, and something stopped him. And I'm not letting it stop me anymore. So I'm going to dream big. I'm going to help big. I'm going to be big. I'm going to stop big people that are bullies. And back to Disney, man, it brings me back to that kid I'm trying to emulate. The kid who had no limitations. The kid who thought he can do anything. And that's the place that brings it out. And it does for my wife as well. And that's why I love going there. And I can't wait. I can't even fucking sleep. That's why I'm doing this episode right now. And this was just weighing heavy on my mind. And I wanted to talk to you guys about it. And, I think we need to, and now that I think about it too, I remember, what was it, like 7th grade, we take an aptitude test, but it's a test that like tells you what field you're going to go. It's like the top 4 jobs that it feels you're going to do. I don't know how that works. I just remember it asked like weird questions. And I remember getting the results of that test, and it was like nothing I even cared about, like nothing that was even me, but it told me, the teachers told us, yeah, that's most likely what you're going to do when you grow up. Already 7, 7th grade, you're like, what, 10, 12 maybe? And you're already being told what you're going to be for the rest of your life. I say no. I say look for that kid and whatever makes you happy, whatever brings you joy, focus on those things and run with that. I think we need to stop putting ourselves in boxes and fight for that little kid inside you. And whatever he's saying, listen to it, man. That's your gut. That's your gut feeling. It's still there. Live with that imagination. Live with that curiosity. I love, you know, there's the thought of when you were younger, you used to ask why all the time. Still ask why. Don't just accept it just because that's what you've been told is the right way. If it doesn't feel right and you're questioning it, question it. Find your own answer, you know, and I can't fucking wait to go. I was just thinking about what I'm saying here, and I'm also thinking about Disney as well too. I can't wait to go. Um, but the whole point of this episode is I want you guys to think about if somebody were to ask you, who are you really, and what gives you joy, and somebody were to ask me that, like I said, who am I? I'm a fighter for other people. I'm a fighter for the people around me. I'm the fighter for the people who can't fight for themselves. And what brings me joy is seeing other people succeed and being part of that, being able to help people, whatever it may be, being the guy that gave the guy the courage to succeed or to do what he wanted, or the guy that helped somebody through something hard. Like I want to fight for you. I want to fight for people. If I can help change your life better or bring up anybody around me for anything that I did, that's what I love to do. I love to fight. The things that bring me joy is being the reason other people succeed. That's plain and simple. That's it for me. And really take the time to reflect on that, on those two questions. And I think if you find those answers for yourself, I think your life starts to get better, because then you can focus your energy on exactly what you want to do and what makes you happy. And, for me, if I'm passionate, it fuels my curiosity. Those are the things I'm going to give my energy to. And it always comes down to who am I and what brings me joy. And that for me is the formula to success. And that for me is the formula for happiness in life. And that's what's been on my mind. And, kind of to, bring this full circle, I think we will succeed. Actually, I know we will succeed with the strike. It's been 10 weeks, but that's where this thinking that this episode's about tonight started, because, when things aren't bad, you're not really thinking about them, you're just paying your dues and you're going through it. But now that they are, you're thinking about it, and there's some people that, oh, we got to get back to work. But no, I'm bringing that kid out, and that kid knows this, the things that are going on is not right. And I mean, what fight has ever been easy in life that's worth it? If it was just a couple of weeks and we go back and nothing's ever going to change. Great change, big change, never came overnight. Never came in a couple of days. It came from fighting. I mean, the U.S. was found on those grounds. Most things here were abolished because people fought. And that's what I got. I'm not saying I'm ever going to be in the history books. Who knows? But that's that fight is what I'm talking about right now. You have to, this song keeps popping in my head. You got to fight for your right to party. But, man, if somebody could be in my head, it'd drive me crazy. Because as I'm telling you that's the song that's just playing in my head over and over. But you got to fight. And you have to fight for your right. I mean, everything has always been fought. Nothing's never just happened. Like, oh, this is the right thing to do. Let's do it. It never just happens like that. Anything worth it has been fought over. There's been struggle. If there's no struggle, I mean, was it even worth it? Like it's part of the process. It has to happen. So, that's the thought in this. We're going to have to suffer a little bit. We're going to have to struggle, but we're good, and I'm good, and the people around me are good, because, we make each other good. And I just love it. And once again, I want to give a big thanks, you know, to Dell and all the BAs and our hall at 710. I mean, those guys coming out every day, keeping our spirits up, and we're good, you know, and, and a big thank you from anybody you guys represent, and I hope that one day, whatever that looks like, affect people's life on a scale like you guys do as well. I admire you guys. And if it's not in that aspect, in another way, whether it's through the podcast, whatever it is, teaching kids how to fight again, I might get back into that. I just want to bring people up, and I just want to help people find a better way. And one of the ways too that I'm suggesting, I'm going to suggest it again, is guys, find the kid that's inside you, because I think we were much happier back then. Because if you think about it too, like even the word nostalgia, when we think back to the days, we're just happier. I don't think it was because times were better. We always say, oh, the 90s were better, or this was better. I don't think it's the times. I think it was who we were. At that time, we were, you know, we believed everything, and we believed in ourselves. And at some point we put limitations on ourselves. We blocked ourselves. We didn't, you know, I don't know how it ever changed or where it came about or where, the insecurity starts setting in. Um, but it happened. And I think if we go back to who we were as a kid, we start attacking life a little differently, and we start attacking it better because we don't put any limitations on ourselves, and we go out there and we get what we want because, the belief that anything's possible. The kid in us believes that. So guys, very excited again about tomorrow in Disney World. Probably hit Epcot first, get some drinks. I'll post that stuff up too on the YouTube channel. By the way, guys, too, the YouTube channel is kind of extension of the podcast. On whatever podcast you're listening to, obviously it's, me talking to you guys. It's the same thing. On YouTube, I'll just kind of like shorten up the episodes, put it out there for you guys. I love doing this. Like I said, I just want to affect people's lives in a good way. And social media is the way to do that nowadays. That's my platform. Podcast, YouTube, TikToks. Like I just like that. I want to whatever it be, I want to affect people's life in a good way. And I hope that I'm doing that. And hope that I'm giving you guys that service where maybe some perspectives or some things we've talked about on here has changed your life. And, that's what I'm about. That's what this is about. That's what my life's about. It's about a bigger cause. It's about helping people, and it's about building people up. And that's kind of like when I do on the podcast, I do the interviews too. I want to talk to people with that same energy. They're passionate about it. They love it. They want to tell a story. That's the kind of stuff I know you guys like listening to, and I love listening to, because passion and curiosity and that thought of doing what makes you happy is everything. It is. We're not here for a long time, and we have only, one life. Let's live it to the fullest, and let's keep doing the things that bring us joy, and let's make sure everybody has a good life. That's my mentality. And if, like I said, I'm going to go back to it because it means so much to me. If I can affect one person, I'm good. If I can affect 100 people, even fucking better, So guys, I can't wait till tomorrow because I'll be in Disney World. 1, 2, I can't wait to see my prediction come true that Conor McGregor knocks him out in the first round. Just saying, guys, don't get mad at me. Like I said, I'm a fan of him as a fighter. I don't want to hear about anything he did outside of fighting. Not a fan of that. I'm a fan of him as a fucking world-class fighter. And if I think we're going to get a whole fucking different animal. I've never seen him so composed, and the way he picked his words during the interview. Still a little crazy with slapping the glasses off the pre-weigh-in. You got to have a little show. That's who he is. You know what I mean? We come to see the show, the Connor show. But I think I think a lot of people are going to be surprised. We're going to get this fucking different animal. And then, guys, I'll keep you posted on the ULP strike as well, too. Like I said, this was our 10th week. Next week will be our 11th. And I will continue to also bring you guys interviews with different locals as well. If you're into that, I'm going to keep the strike stories going or just union talk. I have Excel coming up. They run all the slot machines in Illinois. Um, and dude, slot machines everywhere are huge. If you got gambling in your state, they're huge. I mean, this is a big topic, and to have them as Teamsters as well is good. And if you guys catch the other one that I did in, also in Illinois and Barry, Illinois, we have the biggest warehouse that supplies all the dispensaries. So those guys walked out. So it's going to hit, the marijuana market, the dispensary market is huge now. It's another thing. It's right up there. They're making millions, billions, and not treating the workers right. So, like I said, I hope to push that story. Listen to that story. Those guys were great people too. I talked to a lady, Vivian, and their BA over there. And, those are great people too. And they're going through the same thing, billion-dollar company doesn't want to pay. And that's what I'm talking about. I'll fight for people like that. And I'm going to continue to do the Teamster angle and stuff. And then I'm going to continue to do the one-on-ones with people just have a great story or a good job or just passionate and dedicated about something. And they want to talk about it. I'm here. Let's hear it. I want to give you guys good stuff to listen to. I want to give you guys, I always want you guys to leave with a real conversation. Like you sat down with me and the person or just me. Like now I'm doing the solo. And I want you guys, to get value out of it. I want to give you guys a take, whether if it's a solo with me, something that I've learned in life that's helped me and the way I look at it. And I hope that it helps you. Or if you know somebody that will, share it with them. And then like when we do the interviews, I want you to see, that guy's perspective on life or that woman's perspective on life. And I hope it helps you in your journey. That's what I want to do with this podcast. On the union side, I want it to be a platform to get their message out, to help them out however I can, because this is my tool for doing that. And hopefully one day I could do it on a bigger scale. And I want you guys, with the interviews, I want you guys to get, purpose on that, whatever that is, getting a different take on life now, or maybe they're doing a job that you've been thinking about and you didn't really know what it entails. Let that help you in that journey as well, in your journey. And guys, like I said, I'm a fighter. I'm always going to fight for people. It's who I am. And the biggest joy in life for me is to be a part of something bigger than myself and see people succeed, see people happy, bring them up, whether it's a smile or I help them in some way. I love it. That's what it's about. Life is short. Make it meaningful. Make it passionate. Keep your curiosity and dream as big as you want to dream, because it's your life and you're in the driver's seat. So take it where you want to take it. No limitations, no stop signs. Guys, I'm Tony, as always, your ambassador of fun. And this was another episode of The Garage Mind. I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.